We are live. Hello, guys, and welcome to our uh, Tuesday Live. Today, we'll be discussing the root causes for rheumatoid arthritis. Before we start, with me, there's Saloni, who is our expert client service manager, and she's also our expert functional nutritionist who works with a lot of our clients. So, we'll also be having a lot of inputs from client perspective and how we work with them and how we help address and reverse rheumatoid arthritis as well. Before we start, I would like to add just from statistical point of view, just a stat which I came across when I was researching more of rheumatoid arthritis, that around one in almost all 81.3 crore people in India suffer from rheumatoid arthritis, and that's diagnosed. Okay, there might be a lot of people who goes misdiagnosed or who goes underdiagnosed as well. Okay, so
Right.
definitely rheumatoid arthritis prevalence is increasing day by day, and as we'll discuss, we'll try to reveal the hidden things behind rheumatoid arthritis, what exactly it is, and what are the root causes of it, and then what are the things which a lot of people, even doctors, miss. Okay, which we'll be gone talking about a lot. So
Yes,
let's start without wasting time.
definitely, Suyash.
Saloni, I would definitely love to know from you that what is rheumatoid arthritis, and is it same, or how is it different from other type of arthritis, or is it same
Yeah.
similar to them? So if you
Yes.
can just throw some
So
light, great. Yeah.
definitely, Suyash. So basically, when you talk about rheumatoid arthritis, people often have a misconception that it is something to do with osteoarthritis itself. But let me burst that bubble. Osteoarthritis is a different,
Yeah.
altogether a disease and disorder. Rheumatoid arthritis, if I have to break this terminology, anything ending with itis is always an inflammation. So when we say it is arthritis, it is inflammation of the joint. And rheumatoid is basically the rheumatism, which is
Hmm.
the musculoskeletal system. Meaning, if there are two bones, the bones are joined by this cartilages. So that is what is rheumatoid arthritis, and it is
Right.
not just the disorder or inflammation of the bone, which is a chronic disorder, but it is definitely a disorder which happens over a period of time and is mostly undiagnosed in most of the people, as you said about the stat series.
Yeah.
So anything which damages your musculoskeletal system or anything which is damaging your joints will give rise to rheumatoid arthritis.
So, what does symptoms look like? Because even in my family, my Masi used to suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. That's where I got to know about RA, and that's where I
Yeah.
was, studying and researching more about it. And she used to describe in such a manner that it it follows up, its symptom follows up with immense pain and
Yes.
stiffness for certain period of time, and then it goes. So the flare
Yes.
ups just keeps on coming and going back.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, what is it, and then why the body attacks in the similar manner. So if you could just elaborate, or if you can just help us with some certain symptom, that why is it the way it is, really help us, like
Yeah.
what's the role of immune system in that, and why does it why it is also called as autoimmune condition.
Yeah, so
So
basically, when you call it as autoimmune, it is somewhere where your body is not understanding that particular cell. For example, if this is my body's cell, my body should recognize that this is own cell. In terms of
right.
autoimmunity, your body is not going to understand this as your own body cell. It will consider it as a foreign material or something which is like a bacteria, virus, fungi, something which is invading inside your body. So this becomes immune system's response. Hence, it is called as autoimmunity. And if we once we start discussing the causes, one of the things is that even because of the immune system which is not functioning well, that impacts the growth. And basically, this is a progressive disease. It is not like over a period, just one day you will get the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. It is a progressive disease. So symptoms such as joint pain,
Hmm.
joint swelling. So not exactly joint swelling, but the area which is surrounding it would be inflamed,
Right.
which is a kind of swelling. Then it will pain even, as you told about one of your relatives. So it pains.
Right.
Moreover, the stiffness which happens in the morning. So when you're lying down,
Exactly.
wake up, that is the morning stiffness that people usually experiences. So this is very important when we have to really understand what exactly is causing it. So there are multiple reasons, and often it will be understood like it is osteoarthritis, your bones are decalcifying. But when you have the right diagnosis, it is how we will be able to help you out
Correct. So
and give a targeted approach, right?
agree, totally agree. So when clients comes to us and they say that okay, we have rheumatoid arthritis and a doctor has prescribed certain treatment to it. So what's the first approach, as we know that we function on finding out the root cause and addressing that, right? So what are the root
Yes.
causes which we you have seen for our clients, especially who comes with rheumatoid arthritis, right? You can just help.
Yes, so basic blood work, if you ask me, would be understanding their CBC panel,
Right,
that is the complete hemogram. In this, platelets are a marker which will tell us if platelets are really surprisingly very high. This can be a prognostic thing where you might have RA. So it's not just the person who is diagnosed with RA is coming to us, but we also give them the predictability,
right,
like whether you have chances of getting RA or not in the near future.
right,
Okay, so that is one thing. Another thing is when we look after their infections panel.
right.
Okay, when we have to see their WBCs, the patterns of infections. So if we see WBCs which is completely messed up, if it is completely
Hmm.
deranged, then we understand that there is certain infection
Going on.
which is the body is trying to fight. Okay, so
Right,
here comes the role of immune system where it is not understanding its own body cells.
right,
Okay, so
right, right.
that inflammation markers as well as infection marker WBCs and the types of WBCs like neutrophils, lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophils, basophils tells us an
Mm-hmm.
accurate understanding about the infections that they have. Moreover, when we go towards the inflammation panel, if we see their ESR, HSCRP, all these are inflamed. Why? Because it is the basic marker for acute as well as chronic inflammation inside the body.
Hmm.
So when you see all these panels and these parameters as well as markers deranged, and most probably it is very on a higher range, not deranged like lower ranges, but always on the higher ranges. This is the
Right.
thing that we understand that these people have RA because of all these conditions. So we target each of them separately so that we help them reduce
Hmm.
their symptoms.
Right. And even you're talking about inflammatory markers. I think comparatively they have very very high inflammation because there's too much of inflammation going overall, especially in the
Yes,
joints,
yes,
right? Cool. So this is something definitely we have seen here, and the root causes which you did
yes,
mention, and even now when we see that there is a high infection going on in their body, the next step comes is that okay, what kind of infection, whether it's viral,
infection.
bacterial, fungal,
Yes,
mold, which infection is going, so how do one find about that, right? We do have comprehensive lab tests, especially Cyrex array 12, right, which we do with a lot of our clients, and we found really some good interesting data regarding infections present there, right? And then we have a more of a specific targeted approach towards that, right? But what's your take on it, like how helpful it is, especially for our clients or people who are listening to us, you know
yes. So
yeah,
definitely, I would say advanced test gives us a very big variety of understanding of what exactly the symptoms are and from where it is originating. Like I said, the infections panel where it is impacting your immune system. What is that type of infection? Whether it is a bacteria, whether it is a virus, whether it is a fungi, what exactly? Some bodies which we cannot really see with our naked eyes, like microorganisms, as I mentioned, all these
mm-hmm.
have the potential thing where it can trigger all these things inside us, whether it is
Right.
rheumatoid arthritis or any sort of autoimmune condition. So when we get done with their test, we get a complete list of different panels of bacteria, viruses, fungi, which will tell us exactly which is on a higher range. So until now, in the practice that we had, it's always the thing which we have seen with Klebsiella. Okay, so
Got it.
Klebsiella is one of that potent pathogen which is responsible
Right.
for this rheumatoid arthritis, which is not talked about. Definitely, we are
Mm-hmm.
going to be agreeing to this thing completely. So yes, Klebsiella is one thing. which definitely leads to rheumatoid arthritis. It's one of the under diagnosed things, but this we can understand with Cyrex pathogen, which is Array12, which is pathogen associated autoimmune reactivity screen. Yes, Suyash, we lost you in between.
Yes, sorry, I think there was not
Yes,
connection
we
issues
lost you
with
in
my end. Yeah,
between.
cool.
Yes, so I was talking about Klebsiella itself.
Yeah, and then there are other two or three pathogens which I have seen, when working with my clients as well. So one of them is your Porphyromonas gingivalis, and there is also Candida albicans, which is a type of fungal infection responsible for
Yeah,
that,
right.
which we have seen that Cyrex Aritwell, right? If it would have not been, those tests there, definitely we would not been get that data, and then we would not have been a really highly customized and specific approach, right? Which where we would have helped our clients. So I think definitely comprehensive lab test is a key in unsolving, the case, the hidden mystery behind the data itself, right? And
And
even
even Suresh, in this, I would like to just add one thing.
hmm,
And
hmm,
since when we understand that this is particular pathogen, like whether it is a mold, whether it is candida, we can have a targeted approach and take it out from our body. Because that is not that we want. Anything extra, you have to take it out from your body, right? So that
exactly,
it doesn't
exactly,
cause you all those symptoms. So we have
right,
really seen differences when we really give a targeted approach to our clients based on
exactly,
all these advanced testing and the evaluations that we do and the analysis basically.
right. So I'll just discuss my experience with the client, just a case so that everyone can get benefit from them. So there was a case where like she was suffering from a lot of RA flare-ups, and she was put on corticosteroids and immunosuppressants to suppress the immune system so that she can lead a better life. But because of that, she was having a lot of other issues. Okay, because of corticosteroids and immunosuppressants, her body was very left vulnerable to other microbes to get inside. Okay, because the immune system was not working correctly, so that there was no first line of defense, right? And because of that, there are other pathogens who got attracted and who got space to grow. So E. coli, and she used to have very very frequent recurrent UTIs, and we know
Oh,
it's because majorly because of E. coli, right? And
infections
she
and
used to
equal.
mention that every 3 months she used to get UTI, and she used to be put on antibiotics, right? She was in such a pain. So when we did the comprehensive lab testing for her, and then we totally dig deep into her case, what we saw was definitely there was vast array of infections. Even Klebsiella, gingivalis, and fungal infection was present. Besides that, there are other bacterial and viral infections present there as well. Then what we did was we designed a customized specific approach. We put a lot of good antimicrobials, antifungals, antivirals, antibacterials with good binders. And then after I think 45 days to 2 months, she was able to go first time in her life without corticosteroids and immunosuppressants, without getting that
Wow.
flare up, right? So that was a big achievement for us. That was my first case for RA where I got success by finding out the root cause and getting those lab tests and getting the data from that, right? So
Right.
it is that helpful, right? We can totally reverse, and we have highest success rate the more lab tests we include, especially the comprehensive lab
Yes.
test, right? We often talk about. So
He's telling you about everything, na? What exactly
yeah,
happening, where is that pathogen
exactly,
residing in your body even. So it's a
right.
complete list of tests that Cyrex Arid gives us,
uh,
I would say.
And even like, what's your take, Saloni, on corticosteroids and immunosuppressants? Right, a lot of patients do come, right? A lot of doctors do put them on
Yes,
corticosteroids and
it
their
was.
conventional treatment, right? But what do you think? Like, I definitely don't think that it's
No.
it's 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 of use at all. But what's your take on it? What's your views on it?
So my views would be a big no, because
Yeah,
we have seen things where, see, now in this case, when it is an autoimmune condition, suppressing just that immune system will make them more vulnerable to other sort of infections.
Right.
I've seen cases, if you remember, like they get gut issues, their gut is completely volatile. You give them anything, they will have certain
Right.
allergies, infections. And these allergies are something which have developed after this rheumatoid arthritis and after the
Right.
use of this corticosteroids. So a big no. We won't really recommend. In fact, so it is our job to really taper it down to them.
Exactly. So it messes up with your immune system, right? It messes up totally, right? And
Yes,
then
yes, yes.
your body is left vulnerable to, and the body invites a lot of other pathogens and bacterial
Yes,
infections
yes, yes,
unnecessarily, right?
definitely.
And then you just keep on having antibiotics, and you can just keep on destroying your good bacteria further. Your gut microbiome totally gets messed up there.
And over a
So
period of time, your liver is also gone.
yeah, because of too many immunosuppressants and too many of antibiotics, right? Because the ability to handle those toxins, liver, for liver is
Exactly.
it's up to
So liver
high,
is impacted. If we see
right?
liver enzymes in these patients, it's really super high. It's not
Yeah,
at all in the optimal ranges that we follow. And
exactly.
once your liver is not working well, your detoxification is not happening in the body as it should be happening. It's a complete big mess
Right.
that your body is into. And then you have to have certain external supports itself, like antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
You get something, you get pain, you have that painkiller just to subside that pain. Instead of
Exactly.
target to the root cause and make sure that you are coping up with that stress.
Right.
Right?
Right. And now,
Yes.
so we have also,
Example which I would like to give, nothing
yes,
related to rheumatoid arthritis. You remember the last week I wasn't feeling well, but I didn't take a paracetamol even after having certain
right,
minor infection, right?
exactly.
I made sure that I had magnesia, I had zinc,
Thing.
I had my vitamin D. So basically, these are the support nutrients for your immune system.
Right.
Once my body had that, I was very good in one day, and I just
Exactly.
rested. I just took an off, I just rested. So, to everyone who is watching this, if you
Yeah.
feel like this, don't just pop onto pills because that is really going to mess you up.
Right.
Instead, just have the right nutrients. And you even gave me Kamu Kamu powder, Suyash, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So
so
basically, I love this approach of, giving the resources and giving the nutrients, giving what your body needs, asks for. Okay, what your body is required, right? If you'll give that, your body will, take care of you, and what you get better will get definitely. And that's what we do with our clients as well, right? We'll just provide with natural things which doesn't cause any, side effects, or
side
doesn't
effect.
is, synthetic in nature, is unnatural in nature, right? We'll always go and make sure that it's holistic, it's functional, it's natural in nature, and then only,
Yes.
we give that, right?
And we try to incorporate it in the food as well as the supplemental form. So we have also seen reluctance, right, when it comes to supplements. Oh, this is again a medicine.
Yeah, I
But
know.
it's
That
just
is the
done
perception which we need to change, right? Especially for our clients.
definitely.
So cool. And you are about to discuss a case or so, right? Just to share your experience with, people like whom you have worked with RA, right? If you would just like to discuss that something, how your experience have been working with your clients with who had been with RA, or anything
Yes.
in that
So
respect.
basically, a client, basically an old aged lady who came to us, she was suffering with arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis. So earlier it was misdiagnosed as osteoarthritis, hence my first sentence was that.
Hmm.
Okay, so when we did her tests, we also understood one was Klebsiella and lot other fungus and mold growth which was there at her home as well when we did the advanced test. So
Right.
how did we come to this conclusion that we should do her advanced test is by seeing her infections panel. That is, we looked into the CBC as well as the WBC panel. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when we understood that this is really high at that particular age group, which it should not be, and she was very prone to other infections, basic viral cold, basic change in climatic conditions, she used to get viral infections. So we just tried to find out those things, and then we were able to understand that it is Klebsiella, and giving her other targeted approaches really helped. So if
Hmm.
that old age lady can do it, why not the ones in youngsters? Also, rheumatoid arthritis is not something which will really attack only the old age people. Okay, it
Right.
can happen at any age, so it's not something. It will only go and hit the old age people.
Yeah.
Can happen in your 30s, 20s, 40s, 50s, whatsoever your age group is. If you don't have that good lifestyle, your body has too much of inflammation, which is like generalized systemic inflammation throughout your body, basically
Hmm.
attributing to various factors.
And if you're not taking care of your immune system, if you're not taking care of your self as well, if you're getting frequently ill, getting infections, anything can trigger that as well, right?
Yes,
Right.
stress is the main trigger, I would say also.
Exactly.
Stress
Stress
can
and
also
environment
cause.
factors. I
Yes.
feel.
So genetics to some extent it will definitely play a role.
I think there
So
is one gene which we were discussing, when we were
HLA
talking about
gene,
HLA gene, right? That's
LA
what
gene.
gene is responsible when it comes into
Yes,
environment and it gets the right trigger of lifestyle stuff. It can get on, and then it can get like you can
definitely.
have that autoimmune
It is
condition.
basically human leukocyte antigen itself. So it is
Uh,
leukocytes, which are again your WBCs. So
right, exactly.
any mutation in that, and if there are certain other environmental factors which
So
are making it,
then you're
then
more likely to get RA,
yes,
right? Hmm. And genetics
definitely.
is something which we are, uncovering now, right? Because we
Yes,
have such a comprehensive test which we do for our clients, which test for over, more than 100 plus genes, and then it gives you a full picture of your body, right? Even from your biochemistry perspective till
yes.
your, what are the chances you have disruptive issues with certain hormones, certain metabolism, other things, right? I think Saloni is experiencing some network issues. So we'll just wait few seconds if she joins. And so yeah, so what we were discussing was that we really need to take care of our health, and we need to keep on doing regular blood work to see identify what are the root causes which are present. And yeah, welcome Saloni again. We're just
Yeah.
discussing. So I was just trying to give the whole picture. I think you were saying something, right? You can just
Yes.
continue.
Yes, yes. So I was talking about that gene itself. So it's not just it's going to be the mutation that you have is causing you this disease, but in your future you are more susceptible to get it, or it can act as a prognostic thing where we can, if at this point of time, if we understand that I have a risk of developing some
Hmm.
situations in my later life, I will be able to really nullify its effect if I really start supplementing, if I really start taking care of my body since day to day, I would say.
Right, right.
So
So
it becomes like preventive care, not
preventive
just
care, exactly. So if
yes,
if I know, if I have that knowledge that okay, my this gene is messed up, then definitely I'll not be doing anything associated with that, right? Which might mess up that gene, right? And I can prevent that
yes,
from happening or going wrong, right? Cool. So that definitely genetics is something which always is interesting in itself, and we
yes,
are now unrevealing, right? We are doing for a lot of our clients, and then we are getting much 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 deeper into it. Even there is one gene associated. Like I'll just like to give an example, which when I was discussing with Mugha as well, which uh, which mess up your methylation system, right? Even MTHFR gene mutation, which we talked a lot about as well. So that is something which causes your whole methylation to get disrupted, and then your nutrient needs increases for B12, folate, and other things. So if I know that okay, I have a MTHFR gene mutation, I'll be getting those nutrients in higher amount so that my homocysteine and other things doesn't go really high, and I can prevent things from coming or getting bad, right? So that is something
exactly.
we can definitely, even it's related with your heart disease and cancers, right? Your high MTHFR mutation itself,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So things like
definitely.
that, guys, definitely we are more and more trying to bring cutting edge science and scientific researches across it wherever it's present across the world, and we're trying to collaborate with them. We're trying to get it available
Yes,
in India for our clients especially, so that we can get much more deeper into it, and we can reverse even
yes.
worst cases of illnesses as well, and bring more
So
health to it.
just one doubt, we didn't see any of these. tests in India, right? The samples goes to US.
Yeah, definitely for Cyrix 12 as well as genetic mutation one. But that's the reason we have collaborated, right? Because the science
Yeah,
and the technology is very advanced there, and they have developed all that. It's not that we cannot get it in India, but it's that they have developed it in such a big scale that okay, for now, until unless it's available in India, we can have an access there and we can get it there for our clients, right? Which if a client goes and do individually might cost a lot of bucks, right? But we are trying to collaborate it and we're trying to making more easier and less uh, infeasible for
challenging.
them. Yeah, less challenging for them, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's it.
Yes.
So to sum up, getting a root
Also,
cause.
just lifestyle
Yeah.
factors. We didn't have a word about lifestyle factors as well, Suyash. So I
Yes.
would just like to add upon it's not just always genetics or whatever pathogens that we told. Also, your lifestyle patterns, your lifestyle habits plays a major role. So smoking is one of the known root cause. If you have smoking habits, this is not just for the rheumatoid arthritis, but overall, it is going to
Hmm.
implicate your health in a very bad and negative
Right.
way. Moreover, obesity even is one of the root cause for this. Basically, your heavy weights when you have to carry the bones, even your leg bones or your knee bones would pain up. You will have frequent joint
Hmm.
inflammations. So I would say, please take care of your health
And even
and
not having enough movement, right?
exactly,
Uh,
completely sedentary lifestyle. So
exactly.
make sure that you're moving as well. So it's not like you just have to sit at one place for 8 hours just for your work to get finished. Just keep on moving so that your muscles are used up, your bones, your legs, everything gets used. Okay, so these two are also one of the inputs. Even stress and sleep also plays a major role. And yes, hence we do work on stress management,
Right.
right? Anyone in pain will have stress. That is what we have seen, and hence we want to eradicate that pain for you all. So, working on your stress, your sleep patterns also plays a role. Do not
Okay.
overexert your body unnecessarily because over a period of time it will be good for short term period, but for a longer period of time you are going to get these symptoms and you are going to
Right.
have developed lifestyle chronic diseases.
Even I think that reminds me of even too much toxins in the environment. If you are getting too much toxin inside your body, definitely that can hamper. There is sulfur is used with in detoxification pathway a lot, right? And if you
Yes.
see if there's not enough sulfur in the body, what body will do is, especially the liver, will try to latch on to joints especially, and will get try to get sulfur from that
Sulfur
itself.
from them.
So your ligaments, tendons, or cartilage can start to become weaker because there is a lot of sulfur loss happening and going to for liver, because liver said that okay, it's my job is more important than you guys, and to make sure that your system keeps running. Liver will not compromise in its function, and then your other joint will have to compromise, right? So sometimes even just fixing that, detoxifying the body, even getting toxins out of the system, can simply simple things like that can help getting lot of symptoms on place, especially resolve for, especially for people who have rheumatoid arthritis, right?
Yes,
So,
definitely.
any closing words, Sononi? I think we tried to cover most of it
Yes,
from it.
most of the symptoms, along with
Yeah,
genetic and
disease.
environmental, I would say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely, we cannot live in an isolated environment,
Right.
considering all these things like toxins and all the exposures that we have. But definitely try to take care of yourself. Your health is and must be your health must be your first priority.
Priority.
Whatever
Agree.
happens,
Always.
never keep your health as on second priority because that is what is important. Rest of the things would come and go in your life, but your health, once it is
Yeah.
deteriorated, coming back to that is a very big task, and that is what often people fail, and hence reversing that basic condition becomes very tricky because it's very late that you get
Yeah.
diagnosed with it, since I told it is a
Exactly.
progressive one, right? So
Right.
even try to understand your body as well as try to take care of it. Even try to understand what are the root causes for it. Even if you do your blood test, Also, get your blood test done annually by 6 months, once in 6 months, once in three
Right.
months, and try to analyze those things, because analyzing it, just doing blood test is not going to give you anything, because they will compare
Exactly.
it with the reference range.
Right.
What you need to understand is where you are standing in your optimal health,
Exactly.
right? So
Right.
get your blood test done and just try to understand what exactly is causing
Going
it.
wrong.
Because once you understand the cause, as I gave you my example of viral infection, I knew it is something viral.
Right.
So I took it as a preventive care and I was fine in it.
Hmm.
So just try to do that. If you cannot do that, we are here always for you to do it.
Yeah, so once you know what's going wrong, we can definitely
Exactly.
find out the root cause for the same and help you with that, right? With that being said, that's all, guys. We'll keep on bringing such lives for you. As always, will bring up with lots of wealth of information for you guys, so that you guys can take care of your best health and be healthy, and be knowledgeable, because knowledge is always power. And you have the solutions with you as well, that okay, what happens if, let's say, in your family, if someone has RA or is suffering from that, right? You will be having that knowledge. You can help them, and you can take the proper, right, correct guidance as well. Cool. That's all, guys. Thank you for
All
joining
right.
in. Thank you, Saloni, so much for your valuable inputs as
Thank
always.
you,
And
Suyash.
yeah, we'll definitely get on, and we'll bring up with some great topics as well in future.
Yes.
Chalo, take care. Bye
Sure.
bye, guys. See you.
Bye, guys.